Are you experiencing digital fatigue? Perhaps you're scrolling and everything you consume feels soulless. Perhaps you're posting and everything you create or are encouraged to create by the algorithm feels, well, soulless. You're not alone. Here's my hot take. Okay, so before we dive in, let's talk about dead internet theory. It's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot on the internet, and I think it's really important that we define it. I found a source, a definition, if you will, and of all places, it's Forbes. So it says here, the dead internet theory is the belief that the vast majority of internet traffic, posts, and users have been replaced by bots and AI-generated content, and that people no longer shape the direction of the internet. Sounds a little bit familiar. I read another definition, but I didn't want to read it out because the irony of it was too strong. It was the AI-generated response on Google, where it actually said that it was a conspiracy theory suggested in 2016. I thought it was interesting that it was called a conspiracy theory. I think in 2016 AI still felt like a conspiracy theory, but now we are very much living in a time where everything we are consuming feels dead. So basically, dead internet theory suggests that the internet doesn't have any real people left, where everything is created and consumed by bots. It's feeling awfully close to home. The internet is being increasingly clogged up with what we like to call AI slop. People are reporting higher levels of internet exhaustion, internet fatigue, boredom, disinterest with going online. Because everything feels redundant, unoriginal, or like a repurposed idea or concept. But the question is, how did we get here? To its core, AI is an input-output system. And like with any input-output system, the output is only going to be as good as the input. AI is a massive collection of data and information, plus the intelligence to amalgamate that information and form arguments, conclusions, opinions, and thoughts. The last two feel really strange to say about a bot because they feel like human qualities. But just in the same way as a human being's argument is only the sum result of the information, the same goes for the AI. We could easily deep dive into a lot of topics regarding the input-output aspect of AI. For example, using AI as a source of information for research. AI reportedly fabricates up to 20% of the information that you get just to make it more interesting. This is something I got from Kurzgesagt, and something I've observed myself when using AI. I've definitely seen it create misinformation. But for the sake of this video, I want to look at it through the lens of content creation, art, and creative output. Let's talk about TikTok and other social media. If you've been a creator or you're a creator on TikTok, you probably know that the app highly encourages or is said to prioritize original content. But you may also have noticed a significant algorithmic boost when you repurpose the same video, i.e. you use the same format, the same joke, whatever it is, you've just done it a bit differently, so it's not literally the same video again. It doesn't feel too original, does it? But why? Why is it that when the platform is said to encourage original content, that its algorithm seems to be promoting arguably unoriginal content? This brings me to my hot take. I'm sure other people have concluded this, and I'm probably not alone. TikTok, Meta, and Google, their core motive is to keep you on their platform for as long as possible so that they can mine your data while you are happily scrolling away. It's dark, but we've all known that these services were never really free. Some ways that I've observed this in action are Google's progressively making the search engine contain more and more information directly on the search page without you needing to click into the websites and give those websites traffic. And this has now gone to another extreme with Google introducing the AI generated response, which has all kinds of problems attached as well when it comes to fact checking. I may be going a little bit too deep on this one, but I think that TikTok has purposefully made the editing software annoying, glitchy, slow, to make it take a painfully long time to edit a video because you're staying in the app. There's also the notorious endless scroll, a phenomena that has not always existed. I forget when it was first introduced. Someone please say in the comments. But it was one specific guy in tech that introduced it some years ago, and it changed the internet completely. We used to have page breaks, the kind that you'll see if you're online shopping, for example. But even there, on some sites like Vinted and whatever, it's an endless scroll as well. It's specifically designed for you to lose track of time. We also have Instagram not actually sending you out of the app when you press on a link. If you press on a YouTube video that your friend sends you, you're not logged in, you can't like or interact because you're not actually watching it on YouTube, you're watching it on Instagram's internal browser. They really don't want you to leave the app. So, the original content. If content really was original and different from the last, there would be no discernible trend or pattern for the algorithm to deem that that content is going to perform well. So the algorithm is much more likely to promote content that looks like content that has already performed well, because the algorithm doesn't care if your content is original. The platform doesn't care if your content is useful or educational. All it cares about is that it's engaging enough to keep people on the platform for as long as possible. It is much better, according to the algorithms, for the same format of content to be churned out again and again. And the reason for this is twofold. Reason number one, millions of tried and tested videos are being created that are shown to have had good engagement and expected to have good engagement again. Reason number two that I think gets less talked about is the fact that these videos are repetitive and formulaic is really, really good for AI. Repetitive and formulaic content creates patterns and trends. That is exactly what you want when training an AI. So What we're seeing here is an enormous amount of content being created, and it's very easy for AI to recreate it. If you have 1 million slime videos that are all original, they're not the exact same video playing again and again, but they are all the same, aren't they? The AI can easily see the characteristics of that video and recreate it. We are now in a position where the algorithm is the gatekeeper of content. The content trends have been repetitive and formulaic. The AI has been trained, and now the two systems can work in tandem to keep your eyes glued to the screen for as long as possible. So far, AI has been really good at recreating slime videos, ASMR. It's not going to be long before all other formulaic content is at risk of being turned into AI slop. If we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again to appease the algorithm, all we are doing is giving a recipe for the AI to recreate what we're creating. I'm not just talking about videos, I'm talking about art, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about books. How do we deal with this? One thing I don't think AI companies took into account is how fickle a dopamine addiction actually is. We, as a society living on the internet, are long-term addicts. Let's be real. We're used to high doses of the good stuff to get our dopamine fix. And AI slop just isn't, it's not giving. It's not satisfying that craving. It's just boring, to be honest. At the end of the day, we're also just human beings, and we still crave excitement, authenticity, depth, and meaning. However, there is a however, luckily. We might actually be able to retrain the algorithm to actually promote content that we would like to see. Content that is original, like actually original, and made with integrity. Because, and this is so important, the currency here is your attention. Your attention is the most valuable thing you possess. That is what all of these companies want. They want your attention. They want to keep you in their system so they can mine your data, sell you things. We all know that. But your attention is so valuable. So be mindful about how you spend it. If you give your attention to AI slop, you're going to get more AI slop. You're essentially telling the algorithm that your attention is cheap. If you, however, decide to mindfully spend your attention in the same way as I hope you are mindful about the way you spend your money and your time on high quality content, the algorithm will be forced to recognize that that content is what sells. If we successfully change where we put our attention, it will become algorithmically supported to actually be original. Wouldn't that be cool? We don't have to be against the algorithm. We don't have to be appeasing the algorithm, bowing down to the algorithm. Retrain the algorithm before there's more bots than there are people. My advice to you as a creator, and I mean any creator, I don't care if you're making videos, music, paintings, whatever you're doing that's creative. In this day and age, I think it's really important to shy away from being formulaic, because all you're doing is training an AI to copy you. Never let them know your next move. Break the rules. Shy away from the formula. Go against the current. That's what will keep you ahead of the bots, and be playful when you create. That is what you were always meant to do. Okay, let's sum this up. Original content has not really been encouraged by the platforms as much as they would like to say that it has. We have all, over the past few years, been taking part in training AI on how to best seize our attention. And the algorithm and the AI are going to skip away with our attention spans if we don't change our behavior. Now, if you want to see meaningful and novel creations in this world, you need to spend your valuable attention on that and retrain the algorithm to favor that. If you don't want to be overtaken in your art or your creative endeavors by AI, then please stay away from the formula. I hope you have a nice day. Bye.